Hello everyone and welcome to the official patch notes for Wild Rift patch 6.3. We've got a lot to go through in these patch notes with a new champion, new item changes, and also some champion changes on top of the ones that we already knew with Senna and also the reworks, which the reworks won't be coming out in this patch but in the future patch in the patch 6.3 cycle. But we have some other champion changes which I think a lot of people will be happy about. And with this as well, there's going to be a lot of content coming out over the next week or so. I haven't streamed or done videos that much recently because I've been working really hard on the website, making sure that it's all going to be updated, which it will be in progress with the updates today, and then they'll all be live tomorrow. So when the new patch drops on your phones, you'll be able to head to Wild Rift Fire and get the best builds as well with all the new items, new runes, and everything else in between. So if you're looking forward to patch 6.3, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for the best builds around for Wild Rift. Really looking forward to this patch. It's going to be a lot of fun. So welcome to patch 6.3, Glided Glory. I'm not going to read through the rest of that. Obviously the 5-year anniversary. Happy birthday to Wild Rift. That's definitely very exciting. New champion, Nidalee. I think Nidalee's going to be very, very fun to play. I think a lot of people will have fun playing her. I think she's going to be a huge learning curve, though, for some people, understanding the different forms, when to go into different forms, how to clear through the jungle as well, because it's not easy, really, to clear through the jungle with Nidalee. So it will take some getting used to, but I think she's going to be a great champion. I already did a build, and I posted it on my YouTube community post or over on my other social medias. If you haven't seen that already, you can go check that out, or you can check out my website tomorrow. That will all be updated for you. So really looking forward to Nidalee and giving her a try on stream. I will be streaming tomorrow as well, making sure that I get as much content and I play Nidalee as much as possible. New rank season, this will be coming out on Friday. You can see here, 8 a.m. CST, which is, I don't know why it's not CEST. Oh no, CST might be something else. I'm not too sure what that time zone is actually. And will end in January 2026. So January 2026 will be when patch 7.0 comes out. So that's also going to be a very, very big patch, which I'm very looking forward to. So yeah, new season, new rank season to climb. I reached Sovereign this season, so I'm pretty happy. But I think in this season, I'm going to try and reach Legend. And try and reach back to the highest rank in legendary queue. New wild pass, we have a new wild pass skin with the Vex skin. We also have the other skin, the J skin in the mini wild pass. That's kind of cool. New features, we have the Glided Glory patch theme, where you're basically is very similar to this patch, where you'll be able to get little tokens, and tokens you can open hidden chests, and the hidden chests can give you like chromas, give you fortitude cards and other rewards as well. Apex Pass. The Apex Pass is the Jarvan one. Does it actually say it will be priced at 500 or wait, what? Please note the skin will not return for at least a year after its initial release, and it will be priced at 500. Oh, interesting. So they actually tell you that the Jarvan skin won't be back basically until next world, and it will cost 500 gemstones. So I think the pass is going to be a lot cheaper. Also, the pass is out on October 25th as well, which is kind of crazy. But again, it doesn't tell you how much the pass is going to be. Our season ends, any unused Apex medallions will be converted into one-to-one into blue modes. Okay, interesting. Not too sure what that is. Collector Legends, a new series Collector Legend with rewards. Multiple Omega Squad Veigar exclusive chromas and limited companion evolve items now available. So unfortunately, we don't get a new skin with Collector Legends, which is kind of sad. We get chromas, but I'm not really too bothered about that. I'm just bothered about the free skins you get with Collected Legends. I still think this is better than the daily rewards we had a long time ago. But that's quite nice. The World Championship Redeem Store is open for a limited time. Oh, that's different. So there's going to be a World Championship Redeem Store in Collected Legends. That's going to be kind of cool. Legendary skin selection chests, exclusive rewards, and other high-value items will be available for a limited time from October 25th. So when the Apex Pass comes out, there's also stuff with Collector Legends. So make sure if you play on day one to save your Collector Legends tokens. I know they're going to reset on Thursday, but if you play games on Thursday, then make sure you save them, because it looks like they're going to be bringing out a lot of stuff. Make sure that you spend your Collector Legends tokens before the new patch, before tonight. But after that, just don't spend them until after 25th until you can see that. I've also added a one-click reward claims and other optimizations to claim rewards are much easier. There's also a new mini pass return track, skins Pengu cosplay Tristana And okay, this is just Malphite and Tristana. That's cool. New player logins. We've upgraded the account system. New players can now start playing immediately without registration. Okay, that's kind of nice. Main mode champions score center entrance. Added a champion follow feature. Players can now follow their favorite champions, making the main mode interface display only their select champions. Okay. Champion score select protection. In ranked or legendary rank, if a champion score has reached the highest value for the current rank, you will now receive 1 champion score protection. During this protection, losses will deduct champion score. That's kind of nice. Makes it so then you actually have a reason now to play the champion. Because when you reach, because I know some people that want to reach like high ranks on some champions, and when you reach the highest rank score, it kind of incentivizes you not to play it. It's like, oh, I've reached the highest champion score. What's the point of me playing further? But now you can play further now if you want to do that. New random skin feature. During champion select, if a champion has 2 or more skins, you now enable a random skin mode. Once activated, all skins owned will be rotated into randomly preview. Oh, there will even be a chance to trigger a special Easter egg. I have to definitely give that a try. Oh, this is a floating damage text system, which we knew from the Chinese PBE. We noticed that floating combat text has not been very clear and improved the clarity. New damage type icon, smite bonus damage. Yeah, we know about all of this. Overall, I hope these improvements will provide more clarity. New loadout tag feature. During the pick and ban phase, when a loadout updated messages appears, you will now see a new loadout tag in the popular loadout tab, so you can quickly identify and apply the latest recommendation builds. Can you just do this anyway? I'm a bit confused what that is. New one-click replacement feature in loadout. Detective support roles are missing. Detective jungle roles are missing. Recommend switching between armor and magic resist boots. Okay, that's kind of nice. Optimization, reduce some duration of some phases. Improve champion selects with new recommendations. Add utility card usage reminders. Single player mode optimization. Not really too worried about that. Title system. Overall, the title and achievement system is merged into profile honor tabs. Okay. Self-selection chest opening experience optimized. Future self-selection chests will support batch openings, improve filtering and sorting, making it easier to locate desired rewards. New champion voice lines. Events, we have the 5th anniversary event, which you know about, which we should be getting the Garden Party Brom skin for free, hopefully. And then Nidalee as well, which is pretty exciting. Okay, champion changes. That's through the boring stuff. Champion changes. So if you saw my Chinese PBE rundown, you would already know what's coming with Senna, but I'll explain it anyway because now we have the English version. So Senna now has a new passive, which if not attacked, souls nearby Senna will be absorbed automatically on disappearance. So when the souls disappear, when they drop on the floor, you'll see that little progress bar going down. When that goes down to 0, then the soul will be automatically picked up. You don't have to auto attack it anymore. You can still auto attack it to make it easier, but now it just means that you can focus more in team fights, on auto attacking champions and doing other things instead of focusing on auto attacking souls to make sure that you don't miss out on them. This doesn't work on champions though. This only works on minions on the drop souls. We've also made some adjustments to Senna's controls. When performing a basic attack, it will not be interrupted by other abilities. I think this is good because Senna has a very low attack speed anyway, and also the ally healing width has been increased. Pretty nice. I do not know who the hell is cooking this, but I didn't even think Nasus was that strong anyway, and they're reducing his base damage by 4, or his base AD by 4. Very confusing. Not too sure what this is. I never see any Nasus played at all in high elo, so I'm not too sure what this is. Maybe he's doing a good job in low elo. Maybe you'll have to let me know in the comments, but yeah, Nasa's being damage reduced, so that's pretty hurtful. Varus is getting a pretty big, I would say like mini rework in a way to his passive. So the rework that came through for the passive, Varus has been overperforming for such a long time, even before the rework, to be honest. Varus has been the strongest champion, I would say, for the whole year, to be honest with you. It's been one of the best ADCs throughout the whole year. But now they're changing it, and I think this might change a big part of how you play Varus. So the way you play Varus at the moment is on hit with ability power. So you got Nash's Tooth, Runans into Riftmaker, Deathcap Infinity Orb. But they are now removing the bonus ability power that you get from the passive. So this might seem like a lot of text, but trust me, I'll make sure to make this as easy as possible. So stacks killed on champion kills or assists. You normally gain 60 attack speed and 30% bonus attack speed as attack damage. Now you only get 20% bonus attack speed instead of 30% as attack damage. And your ability power, sorry, this ability power is going to, okay, sorry, I misread it. So this is, this looks like it's staying the same. And then this, the 30% bonus attack speed as ability power has changed to 20% bonus attack speed as attack damage. It looks like some of this is actually repeated. It's a little bit confusing, but what I did was like kind of split into two. So you got this two here and then this here. It's like 30% of your bonus attack speed as ability power has now changed to 20% bonus attack speed as attack damage. So it seems like your passive is now not going to give you any more ability power anymore. It's just going to be giving you attack damage, which is a big nerf to the AP build that you usually get. It seems like you still get the base attack speed. You still get the, obviously it says here, the 30% bonus attack speed as attack damage. That's now gone down. I think this is basically meant this and this is the same. You see how these two are the same here? 20% bonus attack speed as attack damage, 20% bonus attack speed as attack damage. So the way you should read this is basically before you used to get 30% bonus attack speed as attack damage and 30% bonus attack speed as ability power, but now you only get 20% bonus attack speed as attack damage. That's it. You don't get any more ability power anymore. There's nothing more that you can get. I'm not too sure if these two are added together to add up to like 40%. Not too sure. It's a bit confusing, but TLDR, you're losing the ability power now from your passive, which is a big deal for his AP build. Same with the non-champion hits as well. Again, this could be a little bit confusing, but you just kind of split it into two again. 15% bonus attack speed as attack damage has gone down to 10% bonus attack speed as attack damage. And then the 50% bonus attack speed as ability power has again gone down to 10% bonus attack speed as attack damage. You can see that all the ability powers being moved over to attack damage. So now you're a lot more focused on attack damage rather than ability power. And obviously ability power was such a huge thing for him, especially with his second ability as well, which you can see is also getting nerfed quite heavily as well. 5 base at every single rank is pretty big, because if you think about the way that Varus builds with a lot of attack speed, you're auto attacking not in team fights. So this makes a big difference. You're probably doing like 2 or 3 auto attacks every single second with Varus, maybe even more after you reach like full stacks for lethal tempo. So this actually does make a big difference. So what I think is going to change with Varus, well, I think the AP version of his build, if this actually is correct and the AP version of the passive is going, I think the AP version of the build is dead, and Varus is going to build more like Kalista now. So it's going to build just pure attack speed. I think the attack speed is still going to be very important, because the more attack speed you have, the more AD you're going to get. So that is still important. So I think it's going to turn more into a Kalista build, where you go for items like Terminus, Runa's Hurricane, and then you can go into like Nash's Tooth. I think you'll still build Rift Maker, but it will just be Rift Maker by itself because of the true damage that you get. That is still completely fine, but you're just going to build more you've got to build more attack speed now, and you're going to build like a defensive item as your last item. As I said, pretty similar to Kalista. That's the way that I see Varus. So definitely nerfing him quite a bit. I think this is definitely going to kill him, because not giving him ability power now and his passive is going to be pretty hurtful. Ashe nerf as well. I mean, I always feel like Ashe is a champion that I can just never find success on. Obviously, the champion is very strong. It has a very, very high win rate at the moment over in China, and it's pretty disgusting right now how dominant she is. But again, a champion I don't really get to see too much, because I don't play against it. I don't play it too much. But is receiving a nerf as well. 5% on every single rank of her attack speed is pretty big. And also the volley damage, especially at max rank, is going down by 15 damage, 15 base damage on her second ability, which is pretty big. And her attack speed is going down by 5% at every single rank. I think this as well, there's been so many nerfs to crit items. You think of like Bloodthirst has been nerfed like 3 times this patch cycle, or patch 6.2 cycle. You had Soul Transfer being nerfed. You had Mortal Reminder being nerfed. You had Navori's being nerfed, which doesn't affect Ashe. But there have been so many crit damage nerfs to items because they came into the Rift so OP that all of this going down, and also now Ashe being nerfed as well, I think Ashe will definitely go down in power. I still think Varus might be like an S tier champion, maybe A tier. I think Ashe definitely goes down to A tier after this nerf. And then they're finally nerfing Bard as well. Look at this damage in the look, by the way, I'm just saying, a lot of people were building Bard tank with Redemption and Dead Man's Plate and whatever. Do you see this base damage on your first ability? 120, 160, and 200. If you just build full damage with Bard, your first ability was doing so much ridiculous damage in the early game. And you just start off with the support item, I can't remember what it is, the Spectral Cutlass thing, the one that gives you more AP when you auto attack. You just start with that, you do a stupid ton of damage in the early game, and you can just win every single 2v2 in the laning phase, and then you can just scale and do a lot. This nerfing the early game is going to be big. It means he can't duel and can't do as much damage during the laning phase. I do think they still need to nerf his XP in the early game as well, because he can actually reach level 2 before any other dual laner right now, if you're able to position correctly in the lane and walk up and collect your meeps before the minions get to the lane. So I think that part needs to be nerfed, but I think it's a good direction for Bard. He's been strong for ever since pretty much the release, but people were building him as a support and like with Redemption and tank items, which I felt like was a huge mistake. Just a quick heads up as well. For some reason on this patch notes, I don't think I said it at the start of the video, in these patch notes, there's no word of the rune changes. I did ask Riot, and they did say that they're not really too sure, like the patch notes are going to stay as it is. So I think we're going to just have to wait until tomorrow to see what runes are going to come out and what's going to happen. Very confusing, because everything that was in the dev blog after the patch preview is not in the patch notes. So I'm not too sure what's happening there, but just to give you TLDR. So we basically just have the items to go through. So new item, Radiant Virtue. As I said, I've been going through the builds. I've been, figuring out what champions can be really good with this item. I think the big thing with this item is when you transcend, you and allied champions are going to be getting the healing. So not only this is good for peeling engaged supports, like peeling tank supports, but it's also really good for engaged tank supports as well. I think it's going to be really good for like Maokai, Alistar, Leona. I think it's going to be a very strong item. It's quite a cheap item as well. It gives you ability ace, which is great, health, armor, which is nice. The build path is great. And again, the passive, upon casting your ultimate ability, you transcend, increase your maximum health by 12.5% for 6 seconds. While transcending, you and allied champions within 1,200 meters units, you heal 3% of your max health per second. So again, even if you're the one going in alone, you're going to be transcended by yourself, and you're going to heal yourself for 3% over the duration. So I think it's really big. Like 3% of your maximum health, by the way, per second over the duration. That's every 6 seconds you're healing 3% of your maximum health. Of course, it has a long cooldown, 60 seconds, but this only gets used on your ultimate ability. So you know now that when you use your ultimate, you are going to be so powerful, and that's the time to engage. That's not the time when to go in. And the same with like Rell as well. I think Rell is going to be great with Radiant Virtue when she comes out as well. So I think it's going to be a great item. I didn't put this on tank top laners, but I do think this could be a great tank top lane item as well. I'll have to test it out on like Ornn and Poppy to see if it's good if you're playing in the solo lane. Dawn Shroud, then nerfing the damage by half. So it's going from 80 to 40, 5% down to 2.5%, sorry, as magic damage, but you now increase your armor and magic resist by 20%. Now you might think this is really good because they're making a tank item more tanky, which is nice, but the problem is that you need to make sure you crowd control to proc this item, to proc the extra armor and magic resist. So every 3 seconds that you're in combat, you need to make sure you use your crowd control, or that you're CC'd yourself. That is very important. So even though I think this item is definitely getting better, and I think the damage going down is fine, the increase in armor and magic resist is great, but it's not as consistent. You don't get it throughout the entire time. It's every 3 seconds when you see someone with Dawn Shroud. So it's a better item, but I still think it's very inconsistent in my opinion. Protector's Vow, on the other hand, I think is going to be a very, very strong item. I don't think any Enchanter supports are going to be building this anymore. Big things why is that the health has gone down. Enchanter supports don't really care too much about armor and magic resist. There's no ability haste anymore, and there's no healing and shielding power. And also the base value of Protector's Vow has gone down, and it scales more with bonus health. So it's going to be a lot better now on tank supports like Braum, and I don't think Enchanter is going to be building this as a final item anymore. Champions like Lulu and Yuumi and Nami, and there were a lot of enchant supports that would build this because you would stand close to your AD carry and you would still proc it, and you'll still have the extra healing and shield value and the ability haste, but you don't get that anymore. So I think it's going to turn more into a tank item more than anything else. But anyway, the build path has changed. You don't have the Forbidden Idol anymore because you don't have the healing and shielding power. Instead, you have the cow, the chain vest, and also 700 gold. So it's a pretty nice build path. Again, I already mentioned max health, armor, magic resist, but its power, heal, and shield power is going down. The base value has gone down from 125 to 100, and the bonus health has gone up from 30 to 35%. Another big thing as well, and as well as why this is going to be used a lot more on tank supports, is each time you take damage from an enemy champion's attack or abilities, this effect cooldown is reduced by 1 second. So when you're jumping in with, say, like a Braum, for example, when you're using your ultimate, when you're using your shield to block abilities, every single time that you take an auto attack, the reduction of the cooldown is going to go down. I can't remember the cooldown of Protector's Vow off the top of my head, but I believe it's like 15 seconds or something like that, around about that. So yeah, reducing the cooldown of this and proccing a shield more often, I think it's going to be very, very nice. I think it's going to be a great support item. Randuin's Omen, thank God this is here. Like, I think Randuin's Omen is such a better item now than what it was in the previous patch. You now just gain critical strike, still 20% less damage to you. Flat. You don't have to stack anymore. You don't have to do anything anymore. You just buy this item and critical strikes and deal 20% less damage to you. I think this item is going to be a lot better than it is currently in patch 6.2. And now the counter current is now going to be you gaining movement speed and slow resist, which stacks up to four times. So instead of having the critical strikes deal less damage to you, instead of that stacking, you now have the movement speed and slow resist stacking. This is great. This is so good. The problem with this item before is, like I said, you build this item and you think to yourself, yes, I'm going to reduce crit. But the problem is that Yone's jumping onto you. By the time that he hits you 4 times and you get the 20% less crit resistance, you're already dead. You're already half HP. Like, it's completely nulligated like the whole item purpose completely. So yeah, I think this item is going to be used a lot more on tanks now, which is great. Veil Enchant, they've basically reverting Veil Enchant to what it was before patch 6.2, back when it was in patch 6.1. Basically now you don't get the cleanse effect. You don't remove disabled or crowd controls effects from allied champion. You now just grant, it still says champions with an S, but it's supposed to be champion. Grant nearby allied champion a 3-second spell shield that blocks next hostile ability. It's basically the same as what it was in patch 6.1. And they tried to change it. They tried to add cleanse. It was too OP. They're moving it back now to patch 6.3. So yeah, good change. I think Veil Enchant was way too OP. I still think it's going to be good, but it was way too OP before. And of course, we have all the Boots Enchant removals. No more Repulsor, no more Magnetron, no more Hydra, and no more Hextech GLP. So there will be much less Boost Enchants now. I'm glad that Repulsor's gone because it's very toxic ever since the rework of Repulsor. I think it was way too toxic. Magnetron Enchant was just more unique. It didn't really get used too much. Same with Ravenous Hydra. I never really saw it at all. Hextech GLP I'm kind of sad about, but I understand why they've removed it. So pretty nice. I do think there are some champions which are going to be very limited now, which is kind of sad. Like, what do you go now on Bard, for example? I guess you're forced to build, like, I don't know, Proto Belt or Locket, which seems really bad when Hextech GLP was really good on him. So some champions are going to benefit from this a lot and some champions are not. Summoner's Rift map changes mechanics. The bush position, so the river bushes near the solo and dual lane have been moved back to the original center point. I don't know why they've done this. Honestly, I don't know why they've done this. They're not in the middle anymore. They're nearer to the bush now, or they're nearer to the wall. So it's very weird to see why they're doing this, but maybe there's a reason behind it. Ward has gone down as ward. So the ward itself is lowered in cooldown after 11 minutes from 120 to 100 seconds. So the vision ward, the yellow ward, is now going to be a lot more valuable in the late game, which is quite nice. And Baron Nashor, the base health has gone up from 9,000 up to 9,000 500. So it's going to take a little bit longer now to take Baron, but the first Baron in the game is always the easier to take, and it never really does enough damage. So 500 health, I don't think is going to mean too much, but it might mean that some champions will take a little bit longer to solo. Like champions like Kha'Zix was soloing the first Baron of the game, for example. Home guards, I'm really looking forward to this home guard change. I think that teleport in the top lane is going to be great. I think teleport is going to be a really, really good summon spell next patch. It already got buffed, and now home guards are getting nerfed as well. So it's going to take longer for champions to get back to lane. So now you might have to take TP to actually get back to lane and get the minions that you need to like get, you know, snowball the game and have the items that you need. Slowing effects now don't stack anymore. It's now only going to be the strongest slow. So if you're playing Senna and you play Glacial Augment and Iceborne Gauntlet, both of these don't stack anymore. After the new patch, it will only be the highest one, which I believe is Iceborne, gives you the highest slow other than Glacial Augment. But yeah, it won't stack anymore. Before it would stack on top of each other, but now it doesn't. And also they removed the Enchanted Piggy, RIP Piggy. You will not be missed. And then this is just the Battlefest Season 3. This is just the adventure mode, new gameplay, the stats anvil. This was like kind of an MMO mode, it seemed like. Then some gameplay changes to Unbound Frenzy with some new champions. AAA RAM changes with new augments. You have all the world's augments now from like Faker, for example, which is going to be pretty exciting. Augment comeback and rotations. They have some new items as well. Rite of Ruin. On ability cost, gain 2.5% critical rate for 6 seconds, stacking up to 20 times. Your abilities have a chance equal to your crit rate to grant you and your nearest allies within a certain range a shield that absorbs them. That is a crazy item. Jeez. That's pretty... An AP crit item? Who would even benefit from that? AP crit? I have no idea. Thinking of like Kale, for example, could maybe be good, but then it just has no attack speed. Very strange. Void Staff is coming back to AAA RAM. Very, very interesting to see if this actually goes to live and it gets the gets rid of all the magic pen from all the other items, and we just have one magic pen item back in the game. I have to wait and see. Some augment changes if you want to pause and read through these. Some item adjustments, and then some ARAM, some normal ARAM changes, arena changes. They've added Ginsu's Rage Blade to arena, which again is pretty exciting. I think that adding Kog'Maw to Wild Rift but not having Rage Blade just seems like a scam to me. It seems like a complete scam. I've cooked up a build for Kog'Maw, but I hope that Rage Blade gets added because it will just make the build so much better in my opinion. Then some other changes as well, new augments, starting times, some device updates, requires 2 gigs of RAM. Apple devices requires iOS 13 or above. Some bug fixes, and then the skins: Spirit Blossom Nidalee, Spirit Blossom Karma, Spirit Blossom Lee Sin, Spirit Blossom Kindred, and the Summer Party Aurora Exquisite Edition. So yeah, unfortunately, as I said, they don't have the rune changes on here, but what I will do is when I'm live tomorrow, yes, because this video is going to live, yeah. When I'm live tomorrow, I will look in game and I'll see what the rune changes are, and I'll see if there's any rune changes. So make sure you tune into my live stream tomorrow. I'm not too sure what time I'll be live, but maybe around like 10, 11 a.m. UK time. But yeah, that's going to do it for the patch notes rundown for patch 6.3. Hopefully you enjoyed. As always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.